I found a business that where over 138 people are using the exact same business model and shared some of their most revealing numbers in their business. And I wound up finding out that the top 50% of these business owners are averaging $1.5 million in sales, and I found out how they're doing it. So I'm going to share the business model with you and their numbers so that you can copy it if you want to, or just learn and apply it towards another business. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tark Johnson. I had 9 failed businesses from the ages of 18 to 27. And since then, I've built 3 different businesses to over 7 figures in sales. And my current business will do over 7 figures in sales this year with a 40% profit margin. But one of my missions is to help decrease the high failure rate of small business owners that I experience. But enough about me, let's talk business. All right, so hands down, the easiest way to build a successful business is just to copy someone else's. And no, I don't mean literally stealing someone's trade secrets or intellectual property, but it is a term that Tony Robbins calls modeling. Check it out.
Model someone who is already getting the results that you want. If you want to accelerate the tempo of mastery, find somebody that's already getting the result and figure out how they do it and do the same thing. Success leaves what? Clues. If someone is successful, not once, not twice, but consistently in anything, they're not lucky, they have a strategy. They may not even know their strategy, but they have one. And if you study them, you can figure out what it is, and you can save yourself decades of trial and error learning. This is the number one secret for the things in my life that have worked that I've mastered.
Okay, so let's do that. Here's what I did. Now, one of the most successful business models to model after is franchising. And to be clear, I'm going to break this all down and explain how you can do it without doing it as a franchise and make it super simple. But you can model what the franchise is doing for the franchise owners. So I was able to get access to sales records on a flooring franchise. It's funny because when most people think of franchising, they think of food. Most food franchises and a lot of the most successful ones that have the lowest startup cost actually have nothing to do with food. But in this specific franchise, they have 237 franchisees. They've been franchising since 1998. So when you think about modeling something that's been successful, if they've been franchising for 26 years, probably pretty successful. What doesn't lie, women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. So there's 138 franchise owners who are in business for at least 2 years. And so that's the data that we got, and we're going to copy their model. Now, if you want to get a behind the scenes breakdown of this specific franchise, their numbers, what the name is, and even find out if they have franchises available to buy in your area, then you can click the link below and you will be able to get access to a document or a video that has some stuff for you and even schedule a call with the Franchise Empire team. But let's start with the numbers first and then how we can copy it. So when I pulled up their numbers, I found out that of 138 franchisees that reported their sales, they did about $1,027,449 in sales. They got 836 leads, 348 proposals. They had a $7,744 average job size with a success rate of 40% and gross margin of 45%. But let me ask you a question. If you had 6 friends and they all owned the same exact type of businesses and you knew that 3 of them were doing pretty well, but the other 3 were constantly struggling, who would you go to for advice on getting started? I know. It's a stupid question, but people literally seek out advice from people who aren't producing the results that they want constantly every day. So I learned to hear what everyone has to say, but really take serious and implement what the people who are actually succeeding have to say, right? Again, this is modeling. So when people that don't have the results that you want in life want to give you advice or tell you your idea is dumb or whatever it is, don't listen to them. So with that said, let's take a look at the top 50% of owners for this business. There were 69 of them, and they had an average sales of about $1.5 million, which is only $500,000 more than the average. And they generated 1,085 leads compared to 865. They did 466 proposals compared to 367. They averaged a job size of 8,133 compared to that 7,000 number that we talked about earlier, and success rate and gross margin were the same. Okay, so number one, what does that all mean and how can you copy it? Well, leads are simple. Those are just the people that inquire and give you their information so that you can reach out to them about your product and service. Proposals are just estimates. Like you went in someone's house and you got an estimate and actually gave them a proposal to say, hey, looking at your floor, this is how much it would cost. Success rate is the percentage of jobs that you booked over the number of proposals on the first time proposing it. And then gross margin percentage is the percentage of profit in the jobs performed after deducting just the cost of the product, meaning the carpet or the flooring, and installation cost, right? That's not including any administrative costs that you have, gas, costs for marketing, etc. So again, that's just meaning the cost of materials and labor, basically. So look, there's three ways that you can go about this. You could buy into this franchise and be given the complete playbook and blueprint, kind of like buying a McDonald's. You pay the franchisor a franchise fee to get started and a percentage of your sales, and they continue to support you and train you. You can go out there and you can buy an existing flooring business. Could just be a mom and pop flooring business or a franchise resale. I looked up on one of the popular business buying websites how many flooring businesses that were for sale. There's over 250 of them in the United States alone. The other option is you can just bootstrap it and do it on your own. So what we're going to cover in this video is we're going to talk about how you could just bootstrap it if you wanted and do it on your own. Now, the best way to do this is to keep it simple. Get a customer and then figure out the rest as you go. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when starting a business is they don't actually start. They do all of the preparation, but not the stuff that actually matters. The only thing that matters in the beginning to keep you going is to get customers and to start making money. So you just want to go from where you are now to where you want to go. And that's getting someone to pay you money as quickly as humanly possible. So here's an example. You start with calling your friends, your family, people that you know from your church, your neighbors. These are going to be all the people that trust you and respect your reputation, right? And here's what you say. You just, whether in person, whether a text, whether email, you just say, hey, I just started a flooring business, and do you have any interest in repairing or upgrading any of the flooring in your house? That's simple. Now, business is a numbers game. People overcomplicate it. This is what I used to do, and I screwed it up. I would just overcomplicate it, thinking, oh, I suck. And the way to win, even though you may suck in the beginning or not have the skill, is just through sheer volume. So the odds are, if you reach out to 50 people, you send them that text and email and phone and have an interaction with them, at least, at minimum, 5 to 10% are going to say yes. And even when we look back at the numbers, the bottom 10% of the performing franchisees, they average about a $6,300 job size and a 44% gross margin. So if you just got 5 people in your inner circle to say yes, you would have just done about $30,000 in sales. And if you're bootstrapping it on your own, you probably have very minimal expenses outside of the cost of labor and materials. You probably don't have any expenses really outside of that. So even if you just had a 30% profit margin, that's $9,000 in profit on $30,000 in sales. Now, the model would be simple. Buy the product from a flooring store or manufacturer as cheap as you can. You find someone locally who knows how to install flooring, and you make sure that you build enough margin to make money on the transaction, and you oversee the job start to finish. Here's what you don't have at this point. You don't have a website. You simply collected money from people who trusted you. Now, if people don't trust you, well, you have bigger problems in life. Here's the crazy part. You could do these 5 jobs in less than a month, and then you ask every person that you did a job for referrals. Here's what that looks like. Hey, who else do you know that might want to get their floors done or upgraded? Now, hold on. You might be thinking, okay, Tarek, that was way oversimplified, but how do I actually do this? What are all the steps? I got you. Here's where copying the franchise really helps a lot. The business model is this. Step 1 is you're going to create a business. Step 2, you're going to generate leads. Step 3, you're going to do an in-home consultation and bring samples. Step 4, you're going to collect a deposit. Step 5, you're going to install. Step 6, you're going to collect the rest of the money. And then step 7 is you're going to get reviews, testimonials, and referrals. So let's walk through the how in all of these steps so it's super clear for you. Okay, step 1, create a business. So go to your secretary website and create an LLC. This should take less than 10 minutes. Now, if you don't want to do it yourself, you can use a service like LegalZoom. So go to the IRS website and file for an EIN number, which is a tax ID. Now you're all set. Then take those things to your bank and open a business bank account. You can go to a website like buyberk.com and buy business insurance insurance really quickly and easily. Then go to a website like design.com and create an AI generated logo in about 30 seconds. You can go to a website like sitesgpt.com and have 80% of your website done in 60 seconds. Step 2 is to generate leads. The main way the franchise owners generate leads is by running ads and buying leads. Now, in their startup costs, they have franchisees allocate about $40,000 to $60,000 of startup cost on leads. That's going to supply them for the first few months to make sure that they have a lot of activity. Now, you may not have that, and if you're doing it on your own, you don't need it, right? For those of you who don't want to do it on your own, by the way, you can go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter, and every week you'll get some top performing franchise ideas and business breakdowns with all the numbers in your inbox for free. If you're bootstrapping, your main source of leads is going to be working the heck out of your warm market. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to make a list of every single person you know that owns a home, and you're going to reach out to them, and you're going to keep track of the people that you reach out to. You're going to call, text, email, or meet up for coffee or whatever it is. And I talked about this earlier in the video, but with enough referrals from jobs that you complete, you should get some momentum and make some money that then you can reinvest into the business to start buying leads. Now, another thing is just to go door to door. Every time you complete a job in a neighborhood, you literally knock on every door in that neighborhood and leave a flyer saying, hey, we just did some flooring for your neighbor on XYZ Street. Have you thought about getting your flooring done? It's so simple. Most people won't do it, but that's the difference between people who succeed in business and people who don't. And if you're scared to knock on doors, get over it. Or pay someone you know and trust who isn't scared to do it. There are just some people wired out there that love talking to people, and it won't bother them. Do I want to knock on doors? No. Would I knock on doors to be successful? Yes. But once you have some money, you'll want to buy leads. This can be through Google Ads, Facebook ads, or just buying leads from some of the home services apps that sell leads. Now, people do this through Thumbtack, Angie's List, and others. Step 3 is to do an in-home consultation and to bring samples. Now, you can do this in a few ways. You can literally just go to online flooring websites and even the one you plan to buy the material from and show people the samples on an iPad or a laptop. You can also go to some websites or even manufacturers that will send you actual samples in the mail. So you have physical samples to bring to people's homes. Now, you may need to pay a few dollars per sample. Either way, it's an investment that will help you make sales and generate revenue. You'll be able to write it off as a tax write-off too. Now, for some stores, you can get a contractor's discount on the flooring and just take customers to the showroom. And when billing your proposal, you could either be clear about a specific percentage markup on the material that covers your cost, or just build in a project management fee. You don't have to overthink this. Whether you build it in or you make the fee really clear, you figure out what works, right? Step 4 is to collect the deposit. Now, this is simple. Once you've made the sale, got the commitment of like, hey, yes, we want to go with you, you can literally just send a PayPal invoice, or you can buy one of PayPal's card readers for $29. It takes just 5 minutes, 10 minutes to set up a PayPal account if you don't have one. Now, congratulations, you can now accept payments. Step number 5 is installation. I think this is where, most people would get hung up. Now, I don't know how to install flooring personally. You don't need to. You just hire someone who does. I was talking to a buddy of mine recently the other day about a challenge in my current business. I just don't know how to do it or how to even start. And he said, man, I built a $12 million a year construction business and I don't even know how to put up drywall. Just hire someone who knows what they're doing. The lesson is, as long as you can get customers, you can hire people who know how to do the rest. You can go on a website like Thumbtack or Angie's List and find someone who can do flooring installation. In the beginning, go to every job, watch what they do, ask them questions, learn as much as you can so that you can start mastering your craft, because at some point you probably will want to hire your own in-house person. Maybe you wind up hiring a full-time employee, you get so busy. And as you get busier and busier, maybe you need to work with multiple installers and you want to know how it all works to be able to oversee them properly. Step number 6 is to collect the rest of the money. This is simple. Just use your card reader or invoicing system you set up, and congratulations, you just made your first profit. Step number 7 is to get reviews, testimonials, and referrals. Now make sure to take before and after photos and get a short recorded testimonial on your phone in your customer's home. Yes, it will feel slightly awkward, but just push through the discomfort, because having the social proof and testimonials will help to get other potential customers across the finish line when you're doing other consultations in their home, right? Now, if that all sounds overwhelming and you rather just have an exact blueprint, in this video, I break down 7 franchises that make a lot of money, and you can just copy their business models or just join them. Now, remember to subscribe before you go, and I will see you on the next one.